The old Scotsman John was visiting a second-hand market in Dundee. Looking around, nothing particularly caught his eye until he saw an ancient crystal ball sitting in a corner of the market. He instantly knew he had to buy it, and after some haggling with the storekeeper, he finally got it for a bargain price. Once home, John wasted no time in inspecting the crystal ball, but it struck him with a feeling of familiarity. Little did he know that the ball contained an ancient secret that had long been forgotten. It was said that whomever held this crystal ball could have their every wish granted. John quickly realized what he had stumbled upon and immediately wished for unlimited wealth. To his surprise, the crystal ball glowed brightly. Skeptical about the magical powers of the crystal ball, he decided to make another wish. This time, John wished for a castle in Scotland. In mere moments, an enormous stone castle shimmered into existence outside his window. Now fully convinced of the power of the crystal ball, John continued to use it to grant himself whatever whims he desired. One day, while exploring the far reaches of his castle, John discovered a hidden chamber deep beneath the castle. Inside, the chamber was an ancient altar filled with mysterious Mayan artifacts and carved hieroglyphs. After further research, John realized that he had found the origin of his magical crystal ball. The hieroglyphs told the story of a powerful Mayan artifact that can grant its holders greatest wishes. It appears as though the Mayans had created the crystal ball and left it somewhere in Scotland for safekeeping. On learning this new information, John started to appreciate the power of the crystal ball even more. While he understood that such things should not be taken for granted, he still used the crystal ball according to his fancy and continued to enjoy his newfound riches and opulent lifestyle.
Little did John realize, however, that using the crystal ball too much would have consequences.
As he continued wishing for luxurious items, unknown forces were slowly coalescing into a sinister entity that sought to take away John's dreams. It all came to a head when John went to sleep one night and awoke in the morning to find his castle in ruins. Unbeknownst to him, a group of dark witches had descended on the castle during the night and had destroyed everything. Utterly devastated by the sight, John could barely gather his thoughts, and his determination soon faded into despair. He slowly reached for the crystal ball to undo the damage, only to find that it no longer glowed and appeared lifeless. Incredulous, John would not give up and continued to search furiously throughout the ruins of the castle. After hours of searching, he eventually stumbled upon a small box at the bottom of a crevice. Inside lay a precious gemstone, which glowed brightly when touched. Instantly recognizing this as the source of the crystal ball's power, John began to feel a surge of strength. Taking the gemstone, he placed it inside the crystal ball and muttered a simple phrase, "Return my castle, restore my dreams." To John's amazement, the crystal ball glowed brighter than ever before, and suddenly the rubble around him began to shimmer and shift back into place. Before long, the whole castle had returned to its original form, and John couldn't help but feel thankful for the mysterious power of the crystal ball. Having learned from his mistake, John made a vow never to use the crystal ball again and kept the gemstone locked away in a safe. Years passed, and he lived out the rest of his days peacefully within the castle walls, completely unaware of the danger he had avoided. Decades later, a group of adventurers explored the castle and stumbled upon the same chamber that had once held the mystical Mayan artifacts. On the wall were the same hieroglyphs that had detailed the power of the crystal ball, although they were now faded and barely readable. Still intrigued, one member of the group shone a torch at the wall, revealing a single phrase. Only then did they realize the true power of John's crystal ball, powerless without the presence of its precious gemstone. They continued to explore and eventually came upon the very same gemstone, tucked away in a sacred chest. Instantly recognizing its power, the adventurers decided to use it to fulfill their own desires, and quickly left the castle. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to them, the gemstone had started to glow brightly in the chest, as if calling out to someone.
Far away, John stirred in his sleep, awoken by a strange feeling in his heart.
It was as if the stone was calling to him, beckoning him to reclaim what was rightfully his.
John rose from his bed, feeling more alive than he had in years.
Before long, he was on the road, determined to recover the gemstone and prevent it from causing any more harm. Travelling teeming hills and crossing raging rivers, John eventually reached the castle, just in time to witness the adventurers leaving in a hurry. Without wasting a single moment, he rushed in and recovered the gemstone before they could cause any more trouble. Returning to the castle, John smiled as he put the gemstone back in its rightful place and thanked the power of the crystal ball for protecting him. From that moment on, he vowed to never abuse its strength and keep it safe for eternity.